Guys, that was trash. That was completely and utterly garbage trash. And I just thought that to react to this, I had to bring in the homie Infinity Limited to obviously to my right or my left. I don't know, right or left. I don't know what it is, because obviously, me and him, we go way back. We've been playing. He's basically like my Halo online buddy that I always play with, and we've been playing together for years. So I think let's just start with Steve, because I think we should first start with our initial reaction to the trash we just saw, and then talk maybe about the history of Halo and what we come to expect from Halo. So let me just kick things off by saying this. I was never a big. So actually, no. Let's just go raw before we even go to 350. Let me just go raw. That was trash. That was complete trash, because as I was watching it, when you first saw the dude come out of the spaceship, I was like, man, that good old Halo thing when you saw the assault rifle and everything. I was like, okay, all right. Then when I started seeing the gameplay, was that?
Are you talking about the original Halo Infinite trailer, or are you talking about the old Halo trailer?
Oh no! I'm talking about this Infinity's. Sorry, I'm talking about this Infinite trailer. Like, when you saw him with the assault rifle, it was just, it was giving me like Halo 1 vibes. When that second level, when you land on the Halo planet, like, which I think is the second level, it was giving me those vibes. Like, oh wow, man, it's giving me those old vibes. So, but as the gameplay was going through, I was like, wait a minute. Because the thing is that this is 2020. This is 2020, and this looked like, I swear to you, I'm not over exaggerating. This, if somebody showed me that and said this is on a 2002 PC, or it's one of the high-end games of the original Xbox, I'm like, oh, okay, I believe you. It's like, because my thing about this is that I related to the gameplay trailer for Halo 2, the level that we didn't play. And I remember when they showed you that, I was like, oh my God, what? I was like, because that trailer was hype. Because you had the dual wielding, you could go into someone else's vehicle, you had like a new weapon and everything. It's like, oh, you're like, wow. Basically, because again, just initial reactions was that was a pile of crap. And what annoys me is that basically I was watching the game Game Awards feed, and these guys are a bunch of stooges. Which is, I told that you see, the thing about me is that I'm like a casual gamer, so I appreciate the artistry of games. I despise the gaming community, and I despise most game journalists, because these guys are all shills, and these guys are a bunch of mindless morons who will just accept anything that is given to them. I was watching a panel, and one of these morons said, man, that's like really good, like, yeah, that's how? Okay, look, that's just my initial reaction. Complete utter garbage trash. Invisible, your initial reactions to this.
Well, honestly, this is gonna be like really weird, because when you show like the first gameplay footage, normally it's they show like a little clip or whatever, but this is a big time video because this is a brand new system. So you got a brand new system coming out with a new Halo game. So you got to come correct with that, man, because this is the first time we're actually seeing the graphics, first time we're seeing the gameplay, first time we're seeing, and I watched this thing and I'm like, the whole thing felt really generic, man. It felt really generic, cut and dry. I didn't see anything as far as like even the weapons. The weapons, what he had the assault rifle in there from Halo Reach, so they reused that.
The pistol.
The pistol looks like a Call of Duty gun. Like, it didn't even look like the Halo pistol. So I don't know what's going on with that. But man, the whole thing it felt very lackluster, man. I was watching it, I'm like, there's no new enemies in this thing. You're fighting the same old guys, the same Covenant. He mentioned some new enemy, but we never got to see it. So I don't know what they're gonna do for that. But even like the main bad guy, I think it's gonna be a brute, like the guy from the end of the trailer. These are all things that we've seen before. And not even like I was watching the graphics on it, and it wasn't even a consistent frame rate. Like a lot of times it would run at like smooth, and as he started fighting, I'm noticing like drops in frame rate.
Okay, Infinity. No, I want you to be real right now. Be fully brutally honest. That the graphics on that brutes. Are you telling me that there aren't PS2 graphics better than that?
It's not the best looking game I've seen as far as next gen games. I mean, even there's some current gen games that look better. Ghost of Tsushima looks better than this. That game just came out.
Bro, I just finished playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't care if I finished Red Dead Redemption 2. That game came out in 2018. The graphics in those are 50 times better than the garbage trash that we just saw. 50 times better. But you see, but the thing that I think you hit the crossover, which is that, first of all, first in generic, extremely generic. This thing was hyped. You know how people say, oh, Halo Infinite, Halo Infinite, Halo Infinite. You know, one of my amigos, like Sammy, was saying, oh my gosh, Halo Infinite, are you going to watch Halo Infinite? I was like look, I don't give a damn about Halo Infinite. It's like 343. Who cares? But people just say, man, Halo Infinite. So there was a lot of hype for this. So based on the hype, and you deliver that, which is, bro, that level is a mixture of Silent Cartographer and the second level in Halo 1.
That was intentional though. They were trying to do that, which I understand. You're trying to bring back nostalgia, but that's fine. But you can't reuse the same template as an old game. That's the thing about
that came out in 2001. A game that came out in 2001.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, General.
No, so okay. So now this is the main issue now, because again, we just started first with our reactions and so forth, and let's now speak to the larger issue, which I'm sure you'll get into. 343. Now, I have queued for. I've queued for 2 Halo games, Halo 3 and Halo 4. So I queued at midnight for those two games. I remember queuing for Halo 4. And I actually remember meeting the new composer who, in as good as Martin O'Donnell, let's just keep it, he doesn't sniff Martin O'Donnell, but the new composer, Neil Davidge, I just talking with him. And then I remember meeting, I think, Bonnie Ross, who she's like the head, because they basically signed, because look, I didn't want to sign, but if you queued for midnight launch, you basically gets your thingy signed. So, but I remember those things, and I remember that the transition. See, Halo 4 was okay. The campaign was whatever.
Halo 4 wasn't a bad game. Actually, it was pretty decent.
No. See, decent. It was decent, but my biggest issue with Halo 4 was, and that is why I knew my issue with 343. The multiplayer was a complete ripoff of Call of Duty. Complete ripoff. They were like, what do Call of Duty do? We're going to just completely mimic. And I told you, I still play Halo Reach now. Halo Reach came out in 2010. I still play Halo Reach online. Bro, whenever I WhatsApp you, I say, yo, Tony B, when are we going to do Halo Reach, man? That game came out a decade ago.
And the guys are still playing it. There's a good community still out there.
See, it shows you. You've had Halo 4, you've had things right now. It will take you about a minute or less to find the game on Halo Reach, a game that came out a decade ago. That just shows you. But the key I want to speak into is 343. You see, Tony, this is the issue. These guys are garbage. And these guys ain't Bungie. Because, first of all, I don't know where these dudes came from. Like, it's like, you see, I've heard of Konami, I've heard of BioWare, I've heard of Square Enix, I've heard of Ubisoft, I've heard of... So these guys, you've known these guys from the beginning. I've never heard of... See, if they said, BioWare or Square Enix are now going to take over the Halo franchise, I'm like, okay, because I know your track record. I don't know who the heck these 343 dudes are, and it shows these guys are garbage. So my thing too is, this is a question I want to ask you. How, for what reason did Bungie, who built, in my opinion, the biggest, most impactful video game franchise in history, why did they hand this over to some unknown dudes like 343 and not a Square Enix or a Konami?
It's a simple answer, man. They told the story they wanted to tell. Like, Halo is over. Like, even if you watch like all the new stuff that's coming out, it all feels like they're stretching this thing way beyond what it should have been. Like the Covenant is disbanded in Halo 2. You fought the Brutes in Halo 3. You saved Earth. What what more is there to say? Like Halo 3 was supposed to be the last game in the franchise.
Sorry, say again.
I just said that Halo 3 should have been the last one. It says it was the last one in the franchise. The story is over.
Yeah, no. I think, but the funny thing though is this, because I don't know whether I always felt that, yeah, for me, I wasn't a big fan of Halo 3. Like the music was amazing, it was being on Halo 3. Halo Reach was a very good game. That campaign was really, really good in terms of the story and how good the story and how interesting and it's just the interesting way in which they told the story. I thought Halo Reach was actually pretty cool. But I think you're right, though, is that you could tell that these guys, which is unfortunate because it shows a lack of care of what they built. But I just think that you show that for Bungie, there was a desperation to get onto Destiny. There was like, look, we're done with this whole Halo thing. Our full minds and our full effort is creating this new multiplayer ecosystem in Destiny, which obviously ultimately failed. But the thing though is that, okay, even if you say you're right, okay, you're done. Give it to a company who are actually going to have a track record. Tony, who the hell are 343? Who are these dudes?
Yeah, these guys are all from the new school, man. These guys are all like guys that play Call of Duty and all these new modern games. Like the problem is they need to get guys in there who played Halo back in the day, like during Halo 2 era, stuff like that. They need to get a team of guys like that because those are the guys that you want. They understand what makes Halo special. So I think Microsoft wants to make money off of this. Halo's a franchise. You gotta have a new one, especially for a new system coming out. So they formed a team. They put people together. They thought, let's modernize Halo. Let's make it something that people can play, like Call of Duty and all this. And that's what ultimately poisoned it and killed it. And now we have this, where they're trying to go back to what Halo 1 and 2 were, but you can't just do it. It's not a simple thing like that. You got to add new stuff. Every single Bungie game, Halo Bungie game, they added something new for each one. Halo 2 was the dual wielding. That changed everything. Yeah, go ahead.
What's Halo 2, the whole multiplayer thing?
Multiplayer.
What's it called? The whole dual wielding thing, the new abilities and so forth that I think you got it in Halo Reach, the one that you call it vagina condom. I don't see. My thing is that, okay, because why can't Xbox get rights with their exclusive games? You see, this is where Xbox are done. I believe Xbox are finished because the moment they allowed Bungie to dispose of Halo and Bungie now made Destiny, which was for multi-platforms, Xbox were screwed because if we do our history, no Halo, there's no Xbox 360. Halo and Halo 2 saved that flipping console. And my thing is this: the demise of the Halo franchise is perfectly linked into the demise of Xbox. Because you have to have exclusives. Because the fact of the matter is that PlayStation own the market. They're the market leader, so they own the market. So most guys, when they buy a game, they'll buy it for the PlayStation. They mostly would. Even for me, even now, I believe that I should probably bought Red Dead Redemption for Xbox because my PlayStation sounds like a flipping nuclear device whenever it plays that flipping thingy. But
the other one does.
No, it's true. But it's just that based on just habits, if there's a game that comes out on multi-platforms, automatically you just go PlayStation because that's what our habit is. Because Xbox just feels. So what would always get you to purchase that Xbox game was it's exclusive. You couldn't get Halo on PlayStation. You couldn't get Zelda on anything other than a Nintendo. So those exclusives are always very, very key, which is why people thought that PlayStation screwed up when GTA became multi-platform, because GTA was a huge exclusive for PlayStation. But my thing is and this goes to the whole Halo thing, is that, and I want to know what you think about this. In my view, as we consider the Halo franchise is done, it's finished. Like, if that is what Halo Infinite is, you're done. based on the trash I saw in that Xbox showcase, is this evidence that Xbox has done? Like they're especially it's now just Nintendo and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's like the game that gave life to Xbox is also going to be the game that's going to probably kill it. I think they're trying to make this an open world game because I don't know if you remember they showed a map and it was a pretty large scale like world. But the thing about that is if they're trying to do open world, it makes a lot of sense because the graphics weren't that impressive. So usually open world games aren't really that graphically impressive.
I was thinking the same thing. Because when they opened up the map, I was thinking that, maybe because I was trying to think, okay, Infinite. So maybe the whole thing of Infinite is that it's open world. You can choose whichever missions you want to take on. And it is like so the map and everything is huge and you can just venture to all the different kinds of places. Or maybe, see, now this is what I want to know. See, this is where these guys could maybe be saved. If it's a case of where it's like World of Warcraft in that sense. Now, I don't know how that would work, but if it's a kind of World of Warcraft online thing, I'm like, okay. But the issue is about, even if we go beyond that, based on what we saw and what we know, it's garbage. It's garbage.
The problem is they didn't show gameplay for a long time. Like I think they announced Halo Infinite like it's been like a while, a year and a half ago. And this was the first time we actually get to see it being played. So already you have expectations that are through the roof because people want to see what this thing looks like, and it's the first Halo game coming out from a while, and people are going to be going over this like with the fine-tooth comb. So you better come with something special. And that was one of the most generic trailers I think I've ever seen for a new game, especially a game like Halo, which is known for like top quality, high production, extremely good trailers. And it's just I don't understand what's going on with this. It's very
no, and I think that's the thing is that when you think of Halo and all of the releases of Halo, you think of some of the best promotional material you've ever seen in terms of the production quality of the trailers, the advertising campaign, and how they try to raise the level on each of the things. And because again, even for this now, it's like, okay, what's the story? What is happening? What's happening? But I think you're right here. And this is the key thing is for Bungie, they've told their story. You see, for me, what remains right now is I want to now see a film made up of that Halo 1 video game. Because that's a really good, nice, contained sci-fi story. So I think the only way to go is, okay, now give me a film adaptation, James Cameron writes, direct an adaptation of that Halo thing. Because I just think, as I said, like, obviously these writers, you obviously don't know how to take this to the next level. You don't know how to advance this to the next level because again, there is no creativity, there's no imagination here. But I want to talk about the Halo franchise and why it worked and what made it so special and what you think is missing from what 343 are doing and what Bungie were able to do. Because I have my theories of why it worked, and there are two key components I believe. But I want to know what for you was what made Halo worked and why 343 just aren't able to capture that same zest and same magic.
It just proves to me that Bungie is a very special group of guys. I used to watch the making of Halo 2 video that came with my Halo 2 special edition, and just listening to the guys talk about how a game has to have 30 seconds of fun. Every 30 seconds you have to have a good time, and these guys had a really good team of guys that understood gameplay and level design and just making something cinematic. Like Halo 2 is one of the most cinematic games I think I've ever played. Up till then there wasn't anything really quite like it. I mean, you had first-person shooters, but you know the storylines to them were very
very standard, very generic.
But I remember like when they first came up with the Halo 2 launch trailer, I must have watched that trailer about 100 times over.
I watched it by 1,000 times. That's by 1,000 times, bro.
The way that they presented this game was like unlike anything else, man. Like games today still are trying to capture like that feel of like a serious sci-fi game that's like better. It was better than the movie.
Yeah, no, and you see, and that is why you see for me, I get that Call of Duty is the cool thing. Everyone plays it and everything. See, for me, Call of Duty is a video game. Halo was like they were trying to make it a sci-fi franchise. They were trying to make something, as you said, something cinematic. Call of Duty are just trying to make a video game. Yeah, they're trying to make it a film, but no, they're just trying to make a video game. Halo's, because that's what I told you. That Halo 2 release is one of the biggest releases of all time. The hype of that Halo 2 release. Shout out to my friend's mom who actually helped me get that game because I was in school and everything, so I couldn't get like. But that Halo 2 release was one of the biggest releases, and I say, see, there's not been a release like that, and I think, see, people forget. People forget. These kids forget that 2004. I remember 2004. I still have like 2004. The hype for that game, the build up to that game was huge. Now, obviously, I wish the campaign could have been better and everything, but it was made up by the multiplayer. But you see, I told you there are two components here, two key components of what made those things special. Like the story was cool. The story was cool. It was all better, but the two main components: the engineers and Martin O'Donnell. You see, those bunch, see, Destiny, the gameplay of Destiny, the production of Destiny is extremely good. It's just that the multiplayer aspects and the campaign is trash. But the actual technicalities of Destiny is damn good. So those guys who do the programmers, the engineers at Bungie are extremely good. And I noticed the difference playing Halo 4 and playing Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo 1 in just how the game feels and how it flows. That the way those guys engineer and make the game and make you operate with the FPS is unlike any other FPS there's ever been. So those engineers are key. And the second thing is Martin O'Donnell. Music is pivotal in games. It's pivotal in games. And I think we've moved beyond the days of we've moved past that.
Hey, don't hit a Mario, man. Don't hit a Mario.
No, but we've moved past that kind of 2 bits, 1 bits kind of like brick guitar kind of music to where, okay, you like when you like the Mass Effect soundtrack is like, no, this is like a soundtrack. You hear the Skyrim soundtrack is that's a soundtrack. So, and the music, it elevates the atmosphere of the game because as you're playing it and because you're like, oh geez, because because I told you, because video games are special because it's interactive in ways that movies aren't. Like for me, I'm still a movie merchant. I love movies, but what video games give you, especially games like Halo, just like story-driven games, is wow, you rather than just watching this guy defeat the aliens, you're actually doing it. So when you're doing it, you get a different sensation.
That's the problem, man. Like you mentioned the music. I didn't really hear anything in this trailer that sounded like they remixed Halo tracks, but it wasn't good. So that's the thing. There was no excitement to it. Like it was just a bland.
You see, it's just I'll get correct, bro.
Yeah.
Remember that Halo 3 finished the fight. That Halo 3 trailer.
Of course.
But the key thing about something that was the music. The way that music would do, you're like, oh my, it's like, bro, this is elevating what it means to make a video game. I told you, like, see, what I want in my video games, actually, I'm not like a gamer. I'm not. I want things to take. I want you to take things to the next level. So for me, because I'm such a film guy, I want my video games to feel very cinematic and have that kind of cinematic feel and story-driven feel that and what Halo did with the music and the production was like, it's made me feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie. It's like, wow, I really feel like if I'm in a high-tier production science fiction film. And I think these 343 dudes, they don't get that.
I think it has to do with with the people involved. A lot of the guys at Bungie are probably fans of like, James Cameron and because you think about it, like Halo really is aliens. It's the same thing.
Okay, look at this. No, wait, Infinity. Let me just address this clown. Let me just address this clown. He says, XX random dude XX. Okay, retarded Bungie fanboys, not actual Halo fans. Oh my god, Infinity, I love this question. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I love this. This is the crux of the matter. Do you know what? Do you know what this says? Anything that comes out that says Halo, I must support, because since I'm a Halo fan, I must like everything that is Halo. That's what this guy is. So you can't take a step back and be like, oh yes, I'm a Halo fan, but I can say, nah, you've not done so well. For instance, let's say if let's say I'm like a Rage Against the like again, I'm a huge fan of Rage Against the Machine, which I think is the best rock band ever. But if Rage Against the Machine releases a bad song, I say, man, that's a bad song. Or they say the bad album, that album ends great. Like for me, like I think Battle of LA is probably their weakest album. It's still a good album, but I think that's their weakest album. I think Evil Empire and their first albums are better, but all because you're a fan of a band, a musician or something, doesn't mean you have to like everything that gets put out. Because the problem here with this is that with guys like this, 343 were like, we could just release any garbage. These fanboys will eat it up because these fanboys feel indebted to buy and take everything we need, which is the same thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty, they change like one little thing every year. They release the same crap. Same thing with FIFA. They change one small thing. They release the same crap and people still buy it.
Well, there's a difference between supporting something because you feel obligated to, and supporting something because you love it. And I think I put myself in the latter. If I'm to really care and be a fan of something, that means I care about it, man. I don't want to see it go down. I don't want to see Halo, turn into some generic game that it isn't. So I mean, it all comes down to being aware of who's making the games too, because the Halo that's coming out now isn't a true Halo game, man. It's not made by the same guys. It's made by a completely different studio. It's Halo in name only. So take that for what you will, man. But to me, like Halo is already over. Like that was over in my teens, man. When I was like 14, 15, 16, that was the height of it. So if a Halo game comes out now, I'm like curious to see what they bring to the table. And based on what I've seen from this trailer, man, it's not much. What a grappling hook, weapons.
Yeah, I mean, really, like the only new thing that they brought out there is because see, that's the thing that is like again, and it's almost as if okay, what was it about Halo that you enjoyed? Were you a fan of Halo because it's just Halo, like, and because I loved it, anything Halo I just have to support, or were there specific things? See, the reason why I liked Halo was how well the game was made, how good the music was, and the interesting things they were doing within the game. I'm not a fan of Halo because I'm just like a Halo fan where I just have to feel it to Halo. No, you have to give me specific things. See, I'm a fan of a good quality product. Same thing with music. I'm a fan of good quality music. I'm not going to like a band because I just have to like a band. No, if the band releases trash music, it's trash. So if you release a bad video game, it's bad. Like for me, Halo 3. The campaign wasn't that. I was not a fan of
it. Wasn't the best. It wasn't the best, but Halo 3, I think it still has merit. It was still a quality game. It wasn't the best of the series, but it was still good.
No. You see, compared to the series, it wasn't. But Halo 3 compared to, let's say, like for me, like the Halo Reach campaign was better than Halo 4.
Yeah, Halo Reach. You know what, man? When it first came out, I wasn't a big fan of it. But I replayed that campaign recently, man. That was a crazy campaign. I mean, that's like one of the best. It might be the best campaign.
Oh no! So this was a chance to revolutionize the FPS landscape. They've had like 3 years, and they give us that crap. Big joke. But see, this is the thing. That look at who is making it. Who are 343? See, people. It's the same thing that I do whenever I say whenever a film is coming out that don't look at the director and everything, look at the screenwriter. With these things, look at who is producing it. Look at who is making the video game. Who are 343? Do you expect 343 to revolutionize the FPS landscape? No. That's something you expect of, let's say, a Rockstar or a BioWare. Like BioWare, they revolutionized how you viewed RPGs and character-driven RPGs with Mass Effect. Rockstar, they revolutionized what it means to be in an open-ended massive world game in G. So they have their track record. For 343, you see, this is basically the sad reality is, first of all, I still don't have an answer. Please tell me, I still don't know why Bungie chose 343. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, as long as it's with 343, you're not going to get anything amazing. Actually, you know what? I think I know. I get it. 343 made Halo Wars.
Did they? Oh, okay.
I think 343 are the guys behind Halo Wars.
I think you might be right,
Yeah, I think so. I think because Halo Wars was the top target, and I think because they made Halo Wars and that was like really successful, Bungie then said, "Oh well, look, these guys obviously they must know the Halo world and everything. They seem to be the natural successors of this thing since they've done a Halo Wars, so they obviously understand the world and the lore. Let's go ahead and just focus on Destiny." But the issue the Infinity is that Halo Wars is a completely different kind of game from Halo. Halo Wars, it's a top-down real-time strategy game. So imagine getting guys who are experts at making like Age of Empires or Command and Conquer to make an FPS game. These are two completely different disciplines. Completely different disciplines. Because it just shows that these 343 dudes are after their depths. Most of 343 staff are from Bungie idiots. Bro, here's my response to you. I can only go based off what I'm looking at and what I'm viewing. Because use your brain. Bungie, do you really think that Bungie wouldn't take their very best staff to Destiny? Just use your logic. Do you really think that Bungie would leave their very best programmers and engineers with Halo and not take them to Destiny? So even if they played with Bungie, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the truly top tier programmers, engineers, and so forth, worked on Destiny. And again, as I said, Destiny as a game, gameplay wise, is extremely good. It's an extremely well made game. It's just that the multiplayer and everything, but in terms of the technicalities of the game, it's extremely well made. So it makes sense that the best, the guys who were working on Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach are the guys that worked on Destiny. I mean, am I wrong or?
No, honestly, I think it is true. There are guys from Bungie working at 343, but that doesn't really necessarily mean that it's going to be the same quality. I mean, you've got people from different studios working together, but there's always a top few people that make the game what it is, like a few key people. And I don't think many of those guys are even still working at Bungie. I think they all left.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just true. I think a lot of them left from Bungie and so forth. I mean, speaking of Woody, are you going to get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X?
I haven't seen any reason to get an Xbox, to be honest with you. I mean, nothing I've seen has impressed me.
It's a fridge.
I can say the same thing about.
It's a fridge. Do you have space for a fridge in your crib? It's a fridge.
I don't understand what the design team is doing over there at Xbox. I really don't.
It- oh, 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 so you're more likely to get a PS5 rather than an Xbox Series X then?
Oh yeah, of course.
No, no, it's no. You see, for me, you see, for me, I am.
Have you
I
seen
mean,
that thing?
Wait, what?
Have you seen that thing?
The Series X or the PS5?
The PS5.
Oh no, no! Look, I saw the gameplay thing, and I mean, it looks pretty crazy. But don't you need like a 4K TV?
I don't even have a 4K TV, to be honest.
No, yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like 4K, whatever. It's just there's no games. There's no games. Like, come on.
no,
It's gotta be a system seller.
No, but see, Infinity, that's the issue, and that's what we see. Because remember back in the day, in E3, what you got on E3 were games. They were always there. Oh my gosh, you know that game? Because there was always like a game that really blew your mind when you saw like an E3 thing. But what you've now seen are consoles have now become entertainment systems. So we're selling you more than just a video game console. We're selling you the camera. We're selling you, you can use your social media here. We're selling you, you can use Netflix, you can use Prime. So we're selling you a more rounded package. So we're not solely focused on gaming. Like PS2, bro, this thing is just a game. This is just a games console, which is what Nintendo are like, bro. We are in the games market. We're in the games market
too, man. That game, there was thousands of games to play on that system.
No, bro, no. The PS2 is the greatest. The PS2 is the greatest console of all time. Standard. It is the greatest console. Like that's not even up for debate. It is the greatest console of all time because that is what you want from a games console: is games, longevity, durability. Like people were. I remember we bought our cousins a PS2 Slim when the PS3 was fully out and everything. People were still playing on a PS2 when the PS3 was still fully out. Like, don't joke. That PS2 thing had legs. That PS2 thing had legs.
And it was inferior to the Xbox. But the problem was I had so many good games that you wanted to play on that system. I remember like there were games that I was like, man, hey, can I borrow that system real quick? I want to borrow the PS2 so I could play this game or that game because it was that good of a system, man.
Oh no. There's not the amounts of quality stuff in there was amazing, man. The amounts of quality stuff in there was amazing. Come on, let me just send this guy this link real quick. All right. Conscious. I've sent you the link, Darian. So PS2 had games, so did 360, just straight fire. Where did it all go wrong? I'll tell you where it all went wrong. And maybe I don't know whether I'll tell you where it all went wrong. It's when you get cocky. Arrogance. For me, the best consoles I think I've played are the 360 and the PS2. And the reason why those things were so good were they were focused on games. Games. They're focused fully on games. So PS3 came out. Because remember, the PS3 came out at the same time as the 360. So the PS3 came out, they got arrogant, they said, this is not going to be like £400. I was like, F you. 360 was like, oh, okay, we're not going to undercut those guys. And I got a 360 because the PS3 was too expensive. I didn't want to get a 360. I got a 360 because the PS3 was too expensive. Then 360, they got arrogant. And then what did they do? They got drunk on their success. Xbox One comes out. Oh, you have to buy it with a Kinect. Oh, by the way, you have to be on the internet to play this game. And then PlayStation was like, oh my gosh, these flipping morons. And PlayStation built a campaign saying that you can just allow other guys to borrow your game. You don't need to be in it because they wanted to restrict people from borrowing games. So what happened was arrogance. They wanted more than just a video games console. They wanted a camera. They wanted the Blu-ray player. They wanted this. They wanted that. I was like, so it was so much so, which is why Nintendo were like, oh, let these dudes just get confused with all this stuff, and we're just going to just focus on games, which is why the Nintendo Wii is arguably one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Because I don't think that there was never a time when a console was as sold out to the same extent as the Nintendo Wii was when it was dropped. I remember when we were trying to get a Nintendo Wii for Christmas.
Can get that.
I get one.
Can get one.
Every shop we went to, sold out. I had never seen that anywhere for a console where you couldn't get for months. This stuff was sold out. That was Nintendo. Actually, don't sleep on Nintendo, bro. So let me bring this up. So Darren, is your mic working there, bro?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So Darren, talk to me about, first of all, I want your reaction to that Halo Infinite trash.
Man, yeah, Trisha was so disappointed. I'm more of a PlayStation dude, but I like to see Xbox compete as well because it's better for the gaming industry. So I was expecting the rebirth of the FPS because on console, Halo who's made FPS possible on consoles. I remember as a little boy, people thought it could never be done. You need a mouse and keyboard. But when I saw the game today, the graphics were impressive. So I told myself, okay, maybe the gameplay will be impressive. And mediocre. My HH, look, if me, you can make this on our laptops and put this on your store, man. This terrible.
No, and let me ask you this then, is like, do you honestly believe that you can get a great Halo game from 343 Industries, this company? Do you really think that you can actually get a proper game from this company? A
proper game? Possibly, but not Halo. To me, they have to make their own stuff. Halo ended with Bungie. Halo 3 to me should have been the end. Remember, this studio was created after Bungie left. There was not some studio making great games that Microsoft brought in. Microsoft created this studio to contain Halo because Bungie said that's the end. So they made 343 Industries.
So let me ask you this. Okay, and this is a question to both of you guys then. Destiny hasn't really done that well. And let's just say Destiny hasn't done as well as Bungie hoped. Because I think Bungie wanted Destiny to be like a huge, massive multiplayer thing that would be like the biggest multiplayer game ever. And it was there, but it's never really made the impact that they wanted. Do you think that, and I don't think this will happen, just what do you think Bungie should return to Halo? Or do you think that will just be regressing? As what Infinity said, they've done it, they've gone forth, they just move forward. So Infinity, I'm going to ask you that first. So do you think Bungie should return back to Bungie? So do you think Bungie should return back to Halo, continue the Halo franchise, take it over from 343? Or you think that's just them going back, they should just go forward?
No, I think it's finished. I mean, the fact that Halo Reach was as good as it was because that was going to be their final game. They wanted that to be like their best Halo game. Like, we're going to leave the franchise. We're going to give you guys this, present. Here you go. And we're done. There's nothing. This actually proves the point because if you're watching the trailer for Halo Infinite, there's nothing new. There's nothing I haven't seen in that before. So what is actually going on? I mean, they're just rehashing the same thing over and over again because it's over.
Grappling hook. There's a grappling hook.
Just Cause.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Just Cause. Yeah, Just Cause.
Nice.
Okay, so what about so Darren? What do you think Bungie should do? Do you think they should just keep with Destiny? Do you think that maybe that based on just how amazing and popular of a franchise Halo is, that they should return back to Halo and sort of like raise it from the ashes? What do you think they should do?
I think honestly they need a new IP. I think both Halo and Destiny is dead. I don't think they could, because Destiny still has such a bad rap after Destiny 2. They're trying to bring back a free-to-play, but to me it hasn't picked up. These are creative dudes. Come with something new and fresh. If you play Destiny, it has great mechanics. The FPS is Bungie's forte, so come with something new. That franchise discard. So come with something fresh. I don't even understand the story in Destiny, to be honest. So I just think new, start fresh.
Yeah, I mean, you see, it's an interesting question because I don't believe Bungie are going to go back to Halo. I don't, I don't think that'll happen. I think Bungie will want to put their focus. I still think that they'll still stay and remain with Destiny because see, the issue here is that I think there is a fear of doing something creative. I did a massive rant a few weeks ago when I heard those clowns, Rockstar, were going to bring out GTA 5 for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So this is the first time that a game is going to come out on 3 generations of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're having are guys are trying to, because what Bungie wanted was basically what Bungie wanted is what Rockstar had with GTA 5. Can we create a multiplayer world that can then evolve into in-game purchases that we
Because
can
that's what
now
the first.
sort of now live off of?
Because if you remember when Destiny first came out, it's supposed to be a 10-year game. That's what they said. But Activision said no. We need a new game because we need new sales. That influx of $60 again. So that's how we got Destiny 2.
No, because and why did they want it to be a 10-year game? They wanted it to be like World of Warcraft.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, so what they wanted was grow, but get to a stage where the game is so popular, you can now start charging for either a monthly subscription or to get different perks and so forth. And I think they do have. I think to get different pieces of armor, you actually need to sort of pay real money to get different pieces of armor and stuff. So what's what they wanted to create that in the game. So, but again, it just didn't pop off, And I think that market that they were looking for has been taken by GTA 5. But just on that, I know we're talking about Halo, but screw it. On that, let me come first to Infinity Season Limited. What is your thoughts on GTA 5 being re-released on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X?
It's simple, man. Rockstar just likes money. You know what I mean? I think GTA is one of the most profitable games going right now, if I'm not mistaken. But they, yeah, man, they like money like anybody else. They're gonna keep on milking that thing, and until people stop playing it, they're gonna keep on doing it. I don't know, man. It's tiring, man. I want to see a new game. I want them to go back to Vice City. If you want me to buy a PS5, just announce Vice City too. I'll buy a PS5 tomorrow. I'll pre-order it.
You know what I've always said? I mean, before I come to King Darren, what I've always, it's just that, as I said, Rockstar, they're so obsessed with money, they will not do it. I've always said that, see, now doing it now would be a bit too dodgy based on the stuff that has happened. But I've always, and I think this is what my brother used to say. And there was a bit of there was a game that was similar to this, which is a game where you're basically like a corrupt cop. You're like a corrupt detective. We can go around solving crimes, arresting people, and so forth. I think there's a game. I think it was called Urban Chaos. I think it was a game called Urban Chaos where you could do that, where you played as 2 characters and you could actually arrest people and so forth. And I think it was on the PS2. But just that bringing that now with this whole police stuff would be a bit. But as I said, what's the joy of GTA was what's the country? What's the setting? What's the time frame? Because the key thing was, okay, so if it's early 90s, oh my gosh, early 90s music, mid 70s music, late 80s music, or late 90s music. Because again, the time frame tells you the music you're going to be getting, because you're going to tell me about the radio stations and everything. If you flipping money sucking greedy morons are like, no, let's just keep going online. You're like, where's the creativity in that? So, Darren, for you, what's your thoughts on GTA 5 coming out on 3 different consoles?
I'm gonna ask this question: is it a free upgrade if you own the PS4 version, or you got to buy the game again? I know some games you get a free upgrade. How that statement clarified?
I would, I pray, unless these guys are psychopaths, I pray that it's a free upgrade. If those guys are charging you, even if they're charging you 1 kobo for the next gen game, then these guys are sick. For me, it has to be a free upgrade. It has to be. No, that would be insane. Like, it has to be a free. But my thing, but it has to be a free upgrade because look, these guys, they make their money on
shark cards.
Shark cards. That's it.
So that was wonderful to be free because you would just put your disc in the PS5 continuing online and keep purchasing the microtransactions.
Okay, so actually, let me just get some questions here. So, from our says that people forget PS2 was the best then. Then it was Xbox 360. Then it was PS4. It can easily be Xbox again. You see, I understand the pattern that you're looking at here, but I think you're being very optimistic with the pattern. Sometimes those patterns like that don't work. I'll tell you, I haven't played the console yet. But from everyone I've spoken to, that Nintendo Switch is next level. Every single person I've spoken to that Breath of the Wild is one of the best games of all time.
I've heard that.
Everyone I've spoken to says Breath of the Wild is one of the. So we have to stop ignoring Nintendo. I'm sorry, we have to.
But to be fair, remember it was PS1 and PS2. If we think about it, so Sony had 2 runs in a row. So if you want to go by pattern, he's Sony have another 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it's like, look, the market has always been dominated by mainly PlayStation, really. But I just think in recent times, you see, for instance, for me right now, how successful has the PS4 been really? If we say that this generation's battle was PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch, from what I've heard, Nintendo won this era. Because what have the PS4 done or the Xbox One done that has had the kind of impact of Breath of the Wild, the Nintendo Switch, and that console, and the way people have talked about that console? The way that people have talked about the Switch isn't the same as how people have talked about the PS4, the Xbox One, or how people talked about or used the 360, or how guys used or talked about the PS2. You know? I mean, thoughts on that in Infinity. I mean, do you see that the Switch has sort of set what's up for this era, or where do you stand on Nintendo in this whole shebang?
I've been curious about getting a Switch, just because it's such a unique kind of a console, man. And one thing I can say about Nintendo, they always, with their first-party games, deliver something special. That's the problem with Microsoft. They've got so many different games coming out that are top-tier games that are just disappointing. Every time a Zelda comes out, so it's like one of the best games of the generation. Every time Mario comes out, it's one of the best games of the generation. They never mess that kind of stuff up. So you're always going to get quality games.
No. I know what you said was okay, which is why I said we have. See, we used to like, me and my family, we used to just sort of like insult Nintendo, like, man, look at these guys, man, you're still regurgitating Zelda and Mario, your graphics are so cartoony and everything, you've not really sort of updated your graphics to the level of Microsoft and Sony. But in recent times, I've respected what they've done is that they've been innovative in their own way. You see, Microsoft and Sony, they're not about innovation. They're about repetition to maintain profits and to just maximize the profit, which is why whenever they find a golden goose, they rinse. Call of Duty, regurgitate, rinse, repeat. GTA 5 right now, oh my bro, if these guys can actually, like Rockstar, they're not even thinking about releasing another game because they're like, wait, what? We're making too much money. Because you see, back then, obviously, it is great that we have multiplayer, but see, multiplayer has been a gift and the cost, because back before multiplayer was sophisticated, you had to create a quality game and there was no DLC. So give me your game for $40, $50, $60, $30, £40. I play a game, cool. What's your next game coming out? What's the one following on?
I think DLC kind of hurt gaming in a way, because I tell people I prefer sequels than DLC or expansions.
Yeah, for me, I get the idea of DLCs. I mean, the idea of DLCs are sort of good and everything. Obviously, we have like about 5 minutes left before I have to go off. But see, the idea of DLCs are good and interesting. But my thing about it is that, again, I keep on recommending this to guys. Have you guys played Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver?
I never played it, man, but I do have a PS1 mini that I'm thinking about downloading it onto and playing.
Bro, I swear, guys, man, I'm begging you guys right now.
So it's a PS1 game?
PS1.
Interesting. My cousin husband got it because he got a bunch of PS1 games.
Yeah, no. PS1. Like, see, I promise you, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, in my opinion, it is the best storyline in any video game. First of all, the characterization and the storyline in that game, best storyline in any video game that you'll see. Absolutely amazing. And that's the thing about these things, is that multiplayer is cool, but the joy I have of playing like a Skyrim or a Mass Effect is different from what a multiplayer gives. The multiplayer gives me a certain enjoyment, but playing as Half-Hope Shepard in Mass Effect is a particular enjoyment. Playing as my guy in Skyrim with a bald head, with my ebony sword and then everything, and going through that whole single player thing, that's a special enjoyment that you have. Vice City, probably the greatest game I've ever made. Listening to flipping Michael Jackson with a shirt that looks like this on a motorbike, in flipping with palm trees and everything. I'm like, that's a vibe, and that's only a vibe that you can get from a specific video game. But if you don't say, oh no, I want to force you into this multiplayer world where you're faced with these moronic rich kids who steal money off their rich parents and pretty much cheating the game because they're spending money on these shark cans to pretty much cheat in the game. They're like, what are we doing? So bro, just give me a storyline so I don't have to play with these moronic 5-year-olds.
That's right, man. Like, one-player games will never. People always say, "Oh, multiplayer games are gonna take over." No, man. Single-player games are always gonna be around, man.
The craftsmanship is way better in single player.
So what?
I say the craftsmanship in single player is way better. Like, to be honest, I never touched GTA Online. I never touched it.
No, see, for me, it's different senses of enjoyment. See, like, I remember playing Halo 2 with my friends and my brothers and so forth, and I told you, that's some of the most fun I've ever had. I remember I was like, man, this is amazing, because because back then you had clans. So me and my brother, we had our clan, and my brother and people, we had our clans, and I tell you, and this was like it was like 7-on-7, and this is where we could talk with everyone, and we knew everyone that was around there. So that was so cool to have that. But at the same time, the experience of Mass Effect was amazing. And the experience happened ultimately because I told you, I come from being in love of films. You can't tell a story in a multiplayer game. But when you're going through Mass Effect or Vice City, or if it's a Max Payne, or it's a Red Dead Redemption, or it's a Halo, you are interacting in a narrative and a storyline. So the twists, the turns, the shocking moments, this happened, and you have a different sensation when those twists happen. I told you, the ending of Mass Effect 1 is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing because of, like, this is my guy. I made him, and because I told you, of course Link is cool, of course the guy Red Dead Redemption is cool, but Half-Hope Shepard, I haven't felt so close to a character in a video game as I did with Half-Hope Shepard, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my guy. Oh. And the graphics are so good, and the expressions were so good. I was like, oh my god, this is my. So I felt a strong kinship with him, and that kind of experience you can't get in a multiplayer game. So because I don't want to spoil it for any guys who have not played Mass Effect, but when that ending comes, you're like, oh my, man, you just start applauding, man. So okay, so before we just round out here, so Infinity's Limits, if you had to choose one, an amazing multiplayer game, like the ultimate multiplayer game, or an amazing single player experience, which would you choose?
Oh, that's a good one, man.
You could only choose one, and by choosing one, you can't play the other one ever again. So either an amazing multiplayer experience where you can talk to your friends, interact with friends, and all kind of thing, or just amazing single player experiences with amazing stories. Which would you choose?
Well, I'd say single player, because there's enough options out there for multiplayer. There's always going to be multiplayer games, but the thing is about single player games, it takes so much work and artistry and the skill and to make everything work. You know, it's just one of those experiences that I think, like, I wouldn't replace my experience with Mass Effect for anything, man. That was like one of my best like gaming experiences ever. Same for Skyrim and single player. Like, I would say like that's just my thing. I like story-based games.
All right. So, Darren, what about you? If you had to choose one, single player experience or multiplayer experience?
Hands down, single player. My favorite games of all time have always been single player. Red Dead Redemption 1, Witcher 3, Fallout 3, not 4. Mass Effect 1 and 2. I guess going on and on. Single player all day. I just think these craftsmanship in single player you cannot replicate with multiplayer.
No. As I said, see, for me, I love multiplayer. It's fun, but again, for me, is that said again, there is nothing in multiplayer that comes close to my experiences of Skyrim, Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, or Vice City, but specifically Mass Effect 1 and 2. I told you, Half-Hope Shepard is the greatest gaming hero of all time. Like people say, I'm sorry, he is. Half-Hope Shepard is the greatest hero of all time.
Half-Hope. You gotta do a stream with Half-Hope Shepard. Even if it's an hour, you have to do it.
See, the funny thing about Half-Hope Shepard is that, first of all, he looks like a villain. First of all, because he has no eyebrows. He's bald. He's got like a massive scar on his face. But this, no. See, that's it. I want us to do like a separate stream about Mass Effect because that's a whole separate stream that we're going to do about Mass Effect. What I'm saying is that why video games are special for me are the kinds of stories you can interact with during those single player games, especially when they have good, strong narratives. That for me is something that a film can't give you. The most amazing film in the world can't give you the experience of, man, you have to go through this, you're going through this, you help the guys, you're shooting through the guys, and then it's a different sensation, and you feel a lot more. Basically, you care more about the characters than you do anything else. Look, spoiler alert, I don't give a damn. Final Fantasy VII. I remember because I was watching my brothers play Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I haven't played it.
Okay, all right, okay. I won't say it. No, but yeah, but that's things that whenever like big moments happen in single player games, they hit you harder as opposed to if let's say you're watching a film, because there's just whole thing of like when you're really interacting with these things and so forth, you're like, because it's a whole different thing. And the reason why I just said it is so sad that video games now are now becoming profit merchants and they're just looking for the bottom line. But guys, look, man, we have to get out of here because I need to do another stream. But guys, we will do another gaming because we're gonna do a Mass Effect appreciation because I want to talk about how I wanted to beat up everyone associated with BioWare for Mass Effect 3 because that ending of Mass Effect 3
trash, man.
Oh man.
I don't want to that ending of Mass Effect 3 is one of the most disgraceful, shocking things of. And you see, I don't want to get into detail. I don't want to get, but we will get there because those pricks missed out on what could have been the most memorable gaming experience of all time. But guys, we'll get there. Guys, peace out. I want to just thank you for my panels in there, and we'll be back for another thing stream. This was a very impromptu stream, but we're going to talk more about other classic video games and so forth when you get out of there. So guys, peace out. Stay true. Stay real, and your boys out. Peace. Peace out.
All right, man.
Peace.